Hello, this is Gary. Today I'm going to be going over the dwarf tomato plants that I have planted. I got into the dwarf tomato plants whenever I read the book Epic Tomato by Craig LeHoullier, and he's part of the dwarf tomato project, and they've come up with dozens of different types of dwarf tomatoes, and they're kind of designed to be able to plant on 5 gallon bucket. Some of these are in bigger buckets, and other ones are just in 5 gallon buckets, and they're really good if you're going to be growing on a patio or something of that nature. I don't have the best light around here. I got plenty of places to put them, but I just like to play with it, see how they do, see how they grow. They have interesting growth pattern. They are much fuller, have bigger stems and bigger leaves, thicker leaves. But anyway, the first one we're going to have is going to be Fred's tie-dye, and it's going to be a bigger tomato. It's a really pretty colorful tomato, and it's got one tomato there. There's another one on down in there, but it's in the bigger bucket. So it's good, healthy plants. Just put on a lot of blooms up high. The next one is Tasmanian Devil, and it's another slicing type tomato. I think there's a lot more. It's just now putting on a lot of tomatoes in here. Now all these tomato plants was, I believe, seeded in February 20th, and then I put them out in the buckets later. This here, Sweet Sue. It was a really small one. It didn't do. It started off small and hasn't grown as well. The growth habit's not doing that great. It's got a couple of blooms on it. It's my wife's favorite tomato, but it's not. It may just be that particular seed, but it's kind of not doing quite as well. Now this one is Everglades. It's not a dwarf tomato. It's a really small tomato. That's the reason it's Everglades. Some of the seeds have gotten out and it kind of naturalized, so it's kind of a wild tomato that can grow wild. One caution is if you put it in your garden, the seeds will spread and they'll start popping up all over the place. And it seems to have gotten disease worse than any of the rest of them. So I'm not sure exactly why, but that just may be the way it makes me more susceptible to those diseases. Now the next one we're going to be looking at is Bonte Tigerette. Put the name there because I haven't really butchered the name on it anyway. And it's got a few on it. It's got a different. It's one of the two of them I've got that's got really light color, and it's not necessarily for fertility. It's just the way they are. And it's got, if you can see up in here, it's put on a few. This one here is Purple Heart. Now Purple Heart, it was another one of those that kind of struggled. I forgot about it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then realized that I had a different variety, so I planted it late. So it's got a later start time, I guess, on it. There's Pesto Basil. Anyway, Groovy Tunes is the next one. It's got the really big leaves, and again that it's got some, I believe, right in there. It's starting to put on. The next one is Fuzzy Wuzzy, and I'm going to put out right here. It's got a real fuzzy on the leaves are extremely fuzzy, and also it is very productive. It's the most productive by far. It's going to make kind of plum size, very colorful fruit. It's already got the stripings starting up on it, and like I say, it's got tomatoes all over. It's got the blooms all over it too. So as far as production, so far it's been the most productive. Next is Purple Rain. It's got, I thought it did, I don't see any, but it's another one that kind of got started kind of late, I believe. Firebird Sweet. Now it was actually probably one of the more aggressive growing ones. It's got very thick stem on it. It does just starting to put on some little fruits on it right there. The Purple Roselle, and Purple Roselle is one of a lot of people's favorite as far as growing it and things. It's just now starting to put some fruit on. Well, I'm saying that's fruit there. If you come right up over here, like I say, it's got such thick leaves, it's hard to find the fruit sometimes. And there's the fruit on it. That's already up there. And then here's a kookaburro. It put on some really low on the stems down here. I never prune off any of the fruits on these because I can put on just a whole lot of fruit. But it's got fruit there. It's kind of in different layers, so it's going to produce pretty well. And the next one is Malle Rose. And it's again setting some fruit down low now. It looks like It may have some problems with, I don't know if that's going to be blossom end rot or not. They may have blossom end rot here worse. I have to check that out. I didn't notice it before. They may have blossom end rot worse because it can be a calcium deficiency, and sometimes these pots don't have good calcium. I did just put in some lime, which has calcium in it, so maybe that helps solve it. Might not put in quite fast enough. And then here's another Tasmanian chocolate that was in a 5-gallon pot rather than the big pot. It's got tomato down low there. It was a smaller plant, but it's coming on and doing good. So that's the 12 different varieties of the dwarf tomatoes. Thanks for watching. If you like it, hit the like button. And if you'd like to get more of updates, subscribe. I've also got, I have like 100 tomato plants. These are just the dwarf varieties I'm going over today. Thanks for watching. Thank you.